Hello everybody, and I hope you're having a fantastic day, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the step up spawn with roving princess Yumei. I'm going to be talking about the monster first, then I'm going to be talking about the step up spawn, not special spawn. But this spawn is fantastic. Thank you AT for coming out with something not so pay to win, and I'll talk about that in a second. This might make like put a few smiles on some of you guys, because how I'm going to be talking about this makes total sense and seems a lot more reasonable, logical for the game where it's going, because this game's honestly dying out, and especially in my eyes, I just don't care anymore. And I'll talk about that in another video. But anyways, moving on from there, ability power 440, damages all enemies 3 to 6 times with the physical wind damage with the success value of 80. So it's going to hit randomly for 3 to 6 times, and it's going to have a success value of 80. Now, if you're unaware about success value, that means that your move will have a shot to miss if it's not 100. 100 means it's going to hit all the time by default. You might miss, you might start missing with the success value of 100 if you have decreased accuracy, but other than that, you shouldn't be missing at all. Unless it's like a glitch. Literally, that's the only way. Or like a mod, you modify the game. Which is possible, by the way. I just don't know how. I've seen one of my previous guild members do it. But yeah, with the success value of 80, that means that you have a high shot of getting those hits in for the monster that's doing damage, but it's not guaranteed anymore. It's by success value of 80, so it's not guaranteed. But don't worry about the damage for this monster. This monster has decent damage, definitely can do a couple scratches, but this monster doesn't need damage because this monster is already overpowered as it is. Okay, so let's actually get into why I'm saying that. We got Karma right here. Cast Karma on all enemies. Increases ability power, physical, and magical damage. Inflicted all on enemies by 40 for 60 seconds. Stuns all enemies with a success value of 70. Increases critical hit chance of all allies by 50% for 60 seconds. Increases the ability power of critical hit damage of all allies by 50 for 60 seconds. And then cast Gijin. It's only going to be cast on your character. Increases max HP by 100, nullifies debuffs, uses got introduction, boosts ability power of critical hits, increases attack ability accuracy by 30, permits, well, this right here, this permits do blah 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 crap. It's Piercer, it's Piercer. If you want to read what it actually does, you can read it, but that's pretty much Piercer. It's casting Piercer on you, so I'm not going to get into detail about that. I'm just going to say Piercer. And then it applies Dazzling Collapse, which reduces attack accuracy by 20% to the enemy field for 60 seconds. And if you get into a second awakening, it increases cost recovery speed of all allies by 10 for 60 seconds. So right here, to start off with, before I even get into the monster's ability, this is a 37 cost monster, and it's got early pots. As you know, the higher the cost, which is the highest cost in the game right now, the more score it's going to give. On top of it, if you have it plus valued and awakened, which this is one of those few monsters that can be awakened at 37 cost, it's going to give even more battle score. So this monster right here is great battle score, especially if you don't have a lot of 40 cost. This monster right here is going to give a crap ton of battle score for sure, all hands down, no questions asked. So that is very, very, very nice. And then on top of it, the ability. Let's actually get into this ability. This monster is this monster gives the next tier of damage. Having this monster released is going to unlock another tier of damage, a whole different world of damage in Unison League. This monster is the Michaela for ability power buffs. This monster gives the most, and I'm legitimately saying this, the most help towards ability power. This is the greatest buff ability power monster legitimately in the game. This is the Michaela for ability power buffs. If you don't know about Michaela, Michaela is that archangel, that fire archangel. She gives 120% attack and magic attack. She's the only monster in the game that can give a full 120, and because of that, she's just really, really helpful. And the damage she does is massively insane. She is a great monster. Those buffs can be removed easily, sadly, but 120 is the absolute cap. Even if you do increase the buff limits, the buff limit can only go up to 120. The actual regular buff limit is 80%. She right there is the greatest. If you're looking for stat buff, she is the greatest. Not the most safest, but the greatest option available. This is literally the ability power. This is literally a Michaela for ability power buffing. This right here increases ability power, physical, magical damage inflicted by all enemies for 40, so it does that already. This increases the ability power of critical hits damage for all allies. Both of these are for all allies or all enemies. So right there, that's already 90 ability power. also a cast Kinjin, just like Noah. If you remember me and Timely talking about the Noah video, we were talking about the Kinjin buff and how it's so freaking helpful. This does more. This is like plus. This is twice the woman I said woman size or whatever you want to call it as Noah, because it doesn't just cast the buff, the Kinjin buff, but it gives that ability power increase that makes the Kinjin buff so OP to all allies. And then on top of it, a cast Kinjin that gives another 50 ability power increase for critical hits. It's only going to be for your character. Kinjin has only been for your character, but you get where I'm getting at. This is really, really strong. This is crazy strong. This is 140 ability power increase. This is insane. Absolutely insane. This is going to give a next tier damage. If you manage to pop off Michaela and this monster at once, you have a critical hit build, right? You obviously have to have a critical hit build, whether it's having a lot of fatals or you're actually rocking, which this would be a lot more recommended because this is going to be more stable. Well, not a lot more recommended, but it's going to be more, I wouldn't say, I'm not sure, because if you rock fatal double XLs in your main slot, you should be getting a lot of fatal double XLs procced no matter what, so it shouldn't really affect too much. But this is also going to help as well. Critical chance up constant. You can only have 2 attack constant skills. You can have more, but only 2 will activate, so keep that in mind. They only stack twice. It doesn't matter what they are. Their attack constant skills, they stack, so keep that in mind. This also, like, to support the critical hit ability power buff it's getting, this monster increases critical hit chance by 50%. This is the best monster in the game for critical hit chance increasing. Most monsters only do it by 40%. This does it by a solid 50%. So this gives the highest critical chance increase out of all the other monsters in the game so far. So it even supports it even further. And then it also has cost recovery speed on top of it. So this monster is absolutely devastating. Now keep in mind, if you're newer to this game, getting this monster right away doesn't mean that you're going to see a notice in damage. I know you're like, oh, the AzureWrath said this is a great monster, let's spawn, I can't wait, and you're like new or mid-term. Keep in mind, you may not notice the difference right away. First of all, this is because you're not endgame, so you're not using the best abilities in the game. Because, like, when you first start off, using a regular attack compared to using Astrolabe, there's a significant difference. Including within this monster gives it ability power buff. This only is 60 ability power. This right here is 150 ability power 5 times. You're getting a crazy amount. You're legitimately almost getting another Astrolabe. It's 140. You're almost getting another Astrolabe. It's like you're casting 2. It's legitimately like you're casting 2 Astrolabes. If you manage to get everything this monster has, this ability power buff, the Kinjin one, and the ability power one, it's almost like you're casting 2 Astrolabes in one move. I'm not kidding you. That's how strong it is. But then, like, attack doesn't do much. It's almost like you're casting 2 attacks in one row. You get what I'm saying at? This right here is a really, really nasty monster. Absolutely. This is going to be next level damage, because this is the highest ability power buffing monster we legitimately have in the game, and it does it so well, it's stupid. So that's my intake on this monster, everything surrounding it. Keep in mind though, if you're newer to this game, you may not notice the difference right away. You're gonna have to get later in the game, and you're obviously gonna have to have a critical build, or like something that helps with critical before you really notice the difference. So just keep that in mind if you're newer. You want stuff like Fatal Testaments or those critical chance ups I showed you. Definitely Fatal Testament double XLs, because they're gonna have higher proc rate over Fatal Testament XLs. But yeah, that's pretty much my intake. And if you don't know what a fatal looks like, I'll show you right here. Where's a fatal? I don't know if I have a fatal equipped. Hold on, I got you. Okay, so right here is, where is it? I know it's somewhere here. Right here. Fatal Testament. Right here. This is actually low-key a guaranteed critical, so that's why I'm saying Fatal Testament's help. Okay, so moving on from there, the step of spawn is legitimately going to be 110 gems, and at the very end, you're guaranteed the monster. This is right here is extremely sweet. I'm thankful for this A-team, and you're doing so much better with your step-ups than you have been before if you keep this up. Because with the previous step-ups, how they worked is they had a huge selection of monsters, all hands down, guaranteed, right? 33s to the highest cost available, and that featured monster. Within 110 gems, you're probably not going to get the featured monster. Almost everybody in the game is not going to get the featured monster. With this one, you're able to get it guaranteed within that 110 gem step. Yes, it's going to be random just like always before, but at least now you're guaranteed that really nice monster. And considering what I just said about this monster, review I gave about this monster, this is definitely something you don't want to miss. Not only is this a great deal, because most featured new monsters are just way too expensive, and literally within 110 gems you're guaranteed the monster. But on top of it, legitimately on top of it, you don't have to worry about rates or anything. It's there. It's easy. 110 gems. It may be a bit costly for some of you newer players, but definitely so far what they've been doing with spawns, it's definitely not. And with the previous step ups like they have with like all the monsters they have in there, you think 110 gems is going to get you the new monster. Most of the time it's not actually going to. I know it's 46 per full step up for the previous ones they have, but you're probably not going to get it within 3 spawns. This one you're guaranteed to get it straight away, so that's why it's very, very nice. The first step up, you're getting droplets of ether 5. You're getting also a guaranteed SSR gear, so that's not a bad deal. You're getting a guaranteed SSR gear piece at step up 2. Guaranteed SSR feature gear pieces are in here. Pretty much starting off, they guarantee 32 costs, 2 all the way to, if you want to look at the list you can. I'm actually going to go through slowly if you want to check out the monsters, so here you go. We got Kiroy, Lancelot, Tourbillon, Misunari, Anomi. Not all 32s, 33s, and 34s are in here, or 35s, or 36s, so keep that in mind. So that's pretty much what you're guaranteeing the second step up monster-wise. Weapons and armor-wise, or gear-wise, this is what you're guaranteed. It's going to go from 31 to 37s. 31s being like the weapons, 36s being the highest cost for the weapons you can get in here. 37s, I'm reason saying that is because usually armors, as you take a look right here, see 34 costs, weapons and armors, 35 costs, weapons right here, and then 35 cost armors. Armors usually have 1 cost higher, so keep that in mind. As you can see right here, this is what you're guaranteed. Keep in mind though, definitely the lower cost stuff is going to pop out more, so don't think the second step up is going to be like haven for you, because most of the time it's going to actually turn against you. The third step up is what's really going to help out. It's what's really going to help blossom and shine the most for you, because that's where you're guaranteed the actual monster. So that right there is my intake on the whole spawn. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for watching. And to really shortly review again, this is highly recommended. This is a great steal, and this is crazy friendly for free to plays, especially if you've been saving up for the monster spawn. I would definitely, you have to do the full step up. Don't do like 1 or 2. If you don't have enough for the full step up, stay away from it. It's 110 gems. The full step up is 110 gems. 30 plus 30 equals 60. 60 plus 50 equals 110. That's the math right there. I did it for you. Definitely though, you want to do this if you can, because this is a steal. This is top tier, so it's going to give some of the most battle score of the game, and it offers a next level in DPS and damage. So that's it for this video. Thank you for tuning in, thank you for watching, and I hope this helped out. This is the AzureWrath, and I'll catch you in the next video. I'm out. Peace.